Hello everybody, and welcome to Maximum Libertarian. I'm Brian, and I'm joined here today by my friend. And Joe Biden has just been announced as our new president-elect of the United States. I know you're so excited about it. But I titled this video, and I'll have another video up because a gentleman joined us a couple days ago. His name was Travis. He gave some information about why there's voter fraud with the Trump-Biden. There was nothing about the Joe Jorgensen mysterious missing ballots.
That is kind of interesting that Joe Jorgensen, didn't get more votes than what she should have gotten.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But the reason why I think there was voter fraud, and it was right there in front of all of our eyes, was because Joe Jorgensen's name was never announced by the media, by any news outlet. I'm not going to criticize Facebook or Twitter or anything like that because they are private businesses and they can, they would like. But when you have CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CNN, Fox, whoever, they were. Do you think it was like maybe a voter fraud? Because yourself was talking about earlier, and I'm going to expose who you voted for in a minute. But you made the comment, and this is a true statement. When it comes to, you did not want to go in there and vote for Joe Jorgensen. You didn't say that if she was a bad person. Your statement, it sounded like, correct me if I'm wrong, was more or less, you didn't want to put a vote behind her and she's not going to win. Am I correct here?
It wasn't so much that. It was just with all the contentiousness between, wanting Trump out and and Joe Biden. It's just, I had my mind set up that I vote for, either not vote. If I was going to vote, I wanted to vote for one of the big two. Now, it would have been a situation to where I wasn't necessarily wanting to vote for or against, which in a way is not a good mentality to have, but it is what it is. And so it was that case. I mean, I actually did think about Joe Jorgensen and just going, sticking it to both of them and saying, screw the establishment, vote for somebody else. But at the end of the day, I ended up, last minute, last second decision of voting for who I voted for.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Because that's the problem.
But I did vote for Cesar Romero.
Well, I'm glad you voted for Cesar Romero. I really would have preferred you to vote for Cesar Alberto.
No, that was who it was. I don't know.
Thank you. Cesar, thank you. Thank you. Because Cesar Romero played the Joker in 1960.
I know.
Okay. Well, I was telling anyone out there look, we have a listener. How's that? No, but what would get you, because we've talked, we've known each other now over 30 years, since 1989. What do you think would get you or any of your friends to actually cast a ballot or cast a vote for Libertarian? Not Cesar. Okay, I
know what you mean.
Yeah.
What would get me to cast, really, the way in normal circumstances, what I like to do is vote for the candidate I believe in. Now, one thing in regards to Joe Jorgensen, which, for me, another thing that ultimately held me back from voting for too uninformed. I, as a voter, did not do my job and research all the candidates properly. And I didn't want to just Jesus Christ. I didn't want to just blindly cast a vote for the presidential election, even though I blindly cast a vote for the local candidate. It's like, I need to be informed. Oh, I'm just going to check boxes. Oh, I just like her name. I'm going to check it.
The the local candidates are the ones that really affect your life.
Oh, I know.
First. And so often people have zero clue, and that's one thing that's bothered me. But I'm really trying now, because what's happened is in several states, if you went to Nevada, if you go to Florida, Wisconsin, Joe Jorgensen has the votes. And look, there's
what percentage of votes did she? I'm like, how? Okay, let me ask you. I'm the sidetrack. That you know of so far. How well did she do in comparison to like other?
Gary Johnson did the best in 2016.
Oh, okay.
He got over 4 million, or either got over 4 million votes or got close to 4 million votes. And he got like 3.6, 3.8 in nationally. She's the second highest rate with 1.6 million. So it was a substantial drop off. But I do believe that we have two candidates.
Yeah.
See, there was a lot of fear. Like 2016, there was a lot of I hate Hillary, I hate Trump.
Yeah.
Now we were voting with fear. Some people were doing things. We don't want this lawlessness to be going around. I think everyone has this funny and get all excited over things that let's get rid of the police, or let's get rid of this, or let's get rid of that. And then in turn, what happens is it's complete chaos.
Yeah.
And then what happens is the people that filled that void, we get someone worse than what they were getting rid of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was just trying, because like, I'm just, I've been doing this for 10 years. Okay. And I'm getting tired of people will tell me how bad they hate the candidates. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're stealers.
But
man, I got to fix my English. I stink at this. But liars and cheaters and stealers.
Oh my!
But let me finish real quick, because I know maybe you've got an idea. But okay, 10 years. Everyone tells me how bad the politicians are. I say, here's someone better: Rob Sarvis, Gary Johnson, Cliff Hyra, Joe Jorgensen, whoever, and we'll get like in like the polls, like Vernon College had Joe Jorgensen at 8%, early votes.
Yeah,
and I know that wasn't going to stay there, but Military Times had, they couldn't say her name, they would say other, around 4%. What can I do? Because I'm tired of being that guy who goes, all right, like the states I just named, Nevada, Wisconsin, Florida, wherever, she has the votes. Now, this is assuming whoever won and whoever lost, she fits in there. So see, she stole the election, this state, from Trump. She stole it from Biden. Reality is she earned them votes, and there was people who stayed home, because here in the state we had over almost 2 million people stay home once again in Virginia. And then that's why I'm asking you, how do you think? Maybe did I ask this question? How am I going to get these votes over? What do you think is going to happen here?
Oh, if I had that answer.
Yeah, I know that. I'm going to write a book and make $1 million.
Because what needs to change, obviously, you need to change the mindset of people, and more so than that, you need to, I don't know, because like you said, they'll sit there and they'll go, these candidates sucks, both parties are corrupt, we need something else. But then when you offer them a third option, they go, either they're going to steal votes or they can't win.
Right.
And the thing, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm talking about they're stealing votes. This person's going to steal votes. No, you don't steal votes. You earn votes.
Right.
So if somebody votes for Joe Jorgensen, she's not stealing them from anybody. She's earning them. You know, that's like, if that's the mentality, then realistically, you could sit there and say, well, you know, I'm just using Trump and Biden as an example. Well, Biden, because he got more votes than Trump, he stole those votes from Trump. Right. I mean, we need to get past this mentality, this person's stealing votes, and just accept that, you know, people, we have an election system, we have a system that allows people to run under certain rules. And if somebody is allowed to run, then they have every right to every vote they get.
Right.
But I don't know, because I sit there and think what the Libertarians or any other party could do for more votes. And
Once again, that's say this is voter fraud. It's voter manipulation when the media doesn't do their job, because you could turn on the nightly news and see information about Joe Biden. You would see information about Donald Trump.
But I didn't see much information or any about Joe Jorgensen.
You didn't see any.
Yeah,
and there was any.
And I was surprised, because I think when they were showing some of the counts of the election in certain states, I can't remember which state, whatever, but I saw Joe Jorgensen's name then on a few of them. I think I seen on one like a low percentage, but yeah, you don't hear much about it. And I obviously.
Do you think that? Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, I think one thing, not that he would have won or anything, but I think one thing that was against or any candidate this time was just the atmosphere. I think just with the hypersensitive atmosphere around this election and wanting to get Trump out.
Right.
I think that, maybe if it would have been in another election year with another candidate, maybe if whoever runs in the next 4 years and it's not as contentious, they probably could fare a little bit better. Or you'll have people who don't have that mindset of, you have to vote for this person because we have to get this person out. Right. But I think some people they'll sit there and go, yeah, I believe in third-party candidates, and to that effect, and you can vote for who you want to, but now this election is too important to do that.
Oh,
you have to wait until the next one.
That's the rallying cry of whichever party or person that you're talking to. When I was working the precinct, which was a very cool, very friendly, the Democrat, the Republican. But I remember I was talking to him, and he's just like, "Oh, you sound like you got to join back to the Republican Party." And it's like, no, I left the Republican Party because they weren't living up to what they say. And why would I go back? Why don't the Republicans come over to me and quit wasting their time pretending to be constitutional conservatives? Because under Donald Trump, who was going to cut the deficit in half, he's raised it up to $27 trillion. And I do understand we've got a pandemic going on, and so forth, but like he cut the taxes, which I think was good, but then he didn't cut the spending, because it's sweet to go get more in your pocket, but you can't keep spending on your credit card, because eventually that's not going to balance out. And I mean, Trump's done, but he's done good things. He's done good things over in some. Hey, look, if you said Obama's standard, because that's the bar for getting a Nobel Peace Prize, Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And
I find it interesting, because I was sitting there thinking about, of course, I didn't fact check none of this stuff.
No, it's okay. We don't do it here.
Oh, yeah, we don't fact check. But anyway, I saw reports where somebody, and of course, there were people in the comments going, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, my husband was talking about this. But anyway, 2021, it was already signed into, I don't say my time, but it was stated that Trump had it set up to where taxes will be raised on the middle class. So I need to look into that more. But there's one guy on TikTok. He's an Irish fellow, Panda something, and he can't stand Trump. Most of his content was about Trump. And he was talking about that Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I think
UAE and Bahrain, wasn't it?
Yeah, some peace deal Trump signed, but whatever. And according to this guy, he goes, these people, it was a situation to where they were already doing everything they agreed to. So the peace signing was more so for show.
Right.
Because they were already doing everything that they were supposed to be doing. So, but this is just, according to this Irishman, over in Ireland.
Right. Huh.
Who?
So one of Trump's big things always been with state media when he first came out. I think it resonated because I do feel that do you feel that the media is an enemy of the state now? Enemy of the people? I don't want to say they're the enemy of the state because I think they work. And do you feel that they are against the people? And because look, when you came in earlier, before we started recording, there was one question I asked you, and I remember. Was it Sally Jesse Raphael or one of them talk shows back in the '90s? And there was that black guy. Remember, he was a black militia, and he was like talking about a race right. He was calling for a race right. Remember that? And I said, well, and I thought, well, no one's going to go. Like, if you have a whole bunch of races fighting each other, but you're going to have people who are going to be like fighting against them because you're like, hey, I like other people. You know, I like everybody.
Yeah.
And one thing that I questioned, I was wondering, I was like, do you feel that racism has been rising on all sides? It's not just white side, it's black side, it's Asian side, and because the media can spin up Charlottesville, they can spin up black protest, and then in turn, you'll see it, and I'll see it. It could possibly be different ways, I was just curious. Do you think and now they're not, since they're not like Trump did a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Obama did a lot of bad things. Bush did a lot of bad things. But it's almost like whoever's in power, that like Joe Biden gave this beautiful speech today, so presidential. But then just yesterday, Trump was bad. I think he's, and in turn, do you think the media has become voter fraud?
That's a new term. The media is voter fraud.
For me, they are.
The media, I think it's about agendas.
Okay.
It could be about two. It could be about several things all at once. Maybe they connect, maybe they don't. One, it's about what's going to, and unfortunately, contentiousness generates more views than positive news. That's one thing. But then it's about agendas. You have the media, and the media is ran by people, and there's always somebody at the top of each media organization. And maybe it's a situation to where how a lot of people say that colleges and schools are places to indoctrinize people into being more liberal-minded, progressive. So maybe the media has something in that regard. And so the media is obviously, I think it's like there's a certain power that the media has to where they can steer people. Now, maybe you could say it's the element of control, population control, or controlling people's thoughts or what have you. But one thing is for sure, and I'm trying to speak as clear as possible. I feel like I'm sort of. One thing is for sure, that the media is not as honest as it could be, and it doesn't report as honestly and as fairly as it could or should.
Okay.
And I guess that could fall into the category of, because those, like you say, they'll report something for somebody, but they won't report the same thing on somebody else.
Right. Because like during the summer, during Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd protests, so for so long. At first, they were showing it every night on the news, Portland or wherever.
Yeah.
And because they thought it was going to hurt Trump. Then they started seeing Trump's numbers go up because of it. They immediately removed it. So one of my coworkers said his mom, who lives in New York, she thought all the protests were done.
Oh, yeah.
Because she watched CBS News. He's like, no, they're still going on there in Portland and over here and over there. And he's like, we got to watch CBS and their news. And there was no sign of any type of issues going on.
Yeah.
And it was very much like with the immigration policy, which I think the Democrats and Republicans have used the boogeyman of the immigrants. Instead of fixing it years ago, they just allowed it to and they're used as toys.
Political
puppets. So
political
I don't think it's political puppets. because the president's a puppet. But they're being used as tools and just like to spin up the base of whichever side. Obama, he was the first one locking the kids up into cages, but then they used the same pictures from the Obama administration to trash Trump. And to me, that's so bad and that's so disgusting. Like I was saying to someone, I said, don't defeat Trump off a lie. Just saying, hey, you're Nazi, hey, you're racist.
Defeat him.
Just say it. Here's his record, and the dollar's dying. It's on fucking, it's up. I shouldn't have said that word, but so I apologize anyone's listening. But no, we got to fix it. And like, beat him on his policies. Yeah. Don't beat him on a lie or just a name call.
One thing I'm trying to do is, you're bombing Trump. Somebody will sit there and complain about Trump, and the first thing somebody else does is, well, they go, whoa, Obama. Mm-hmm. And I think that is okay in certain contexts, but in other contexts, there comes a time where it's like, okay, well, suppose they go, well, the dollar's dying. Then somebody will go, well, the dollar was dying underneath the Obama administration. Well, I'm just going to say maybe that's true. I'm not saying it's, but let's just say in some scenario that's true. Well, that's fine. But now this person is president, so therefore it is now their responsibility to try to make things better.
Right.
So, but I think, like I said, a lot of people, they keep going back to, well, this person did this. So as a way to sort of deflect or excuse the behavior of what the current person is doing.
Right.
Or something along those lines. But
all right, so now Joe Biden's going to be the president. Nothing's going to happen where Donald Trump is the new president, or re-elected.
Rudy Giuliani, who for whatever reason, when I watched him make his speech in front of Philadelphia, I kept thinking, is that Penguin from Batman? Because he looked like the Penguin from Batman to me for whatever reason. But anyway, he was saying that the president goes to court still. So they're going to sue. And who knows what'll happen there?
Right,
I doubt if anything happens. Right. Biden's the next president, and Kamala Harris is your new VP. Oh yeah, by the way, history making, first female vice presidential elect, first vice presidential elect of color, and also Donald Trump, I think, is now the 6th president to only serve one term as far as not getting reelected.
Wow. But he'll always be able to be set to be called Mr. President.
Yeah. So there you go.
So he put a thumb in their eyes, everybody's eye. All right, so Joe Biden's gonna come riding in on his white steed. Kamala Harris is on her white steed too. They both are horrible politicians. From the 1994 crime bill to, losing control while he was VP of the swine flu and
come on,
all
man.
that stuff. Yeah,
come on, man. Come on. Joe Biden's the vice president, Brian. What can he do? He's supposed to walk in there and just throw Obama out the way and say, "Listen to me, I'm in charge now."
Well, that's true. That's true.
Nah, but he's horrible.
Kamala Harris.
They have a proven record.
Her track record is god awful. KamalaHarris.info. You can see her. My favorite one is the guy on death row. He could have been proven innocent with a DNA test,
but she didn't want to do it.
They had to take her to court, so they would, because she didn't want to open up that can of worms for all the other folks. But a wonderful woman.
But you know what, Brian? We got to get Trump out of office.
Let me tell you something. I saw a picture. You're absolutely right. Orange man bad. There was a picture I saw, and it was a picture of Kamala strolling to the like wherever she's going down the street, and then there was a little shadow of a little girl, and I thought, we ought to make whoever the artist. I'll show it to you after we get down here. But there's there should be a that's like watching that picture. That garbage picture was almost like having a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer or BTK killer, Pine Torture Kill, them strolling down the street with their shoulders back in a little small child's shadow. And I thought that's what the shirt should be, a Jeffrey Dahmer, because she's a piece of garbage. He's a piece of garbage. Trump's no better. He's trash. And the media stole the election. So let me get to the question, the final question I'll have for you today, because we're at 25 minutes, 18 seconds. What do you expect the Joe Biden administration? What type of, because the country, is the country half full or is it half empty? Is it a Titanic? Is it Rome? I'm going to throw so many questions at you. I want you to get messed up. And if I can, I'll need the square root of 64,972. And no, but what do you think is going to happen with the country? Besides the national mask mandate, besides our taxes going up, besides getting UBI, adding more money to the deficit, besides Medicaid for all, probably college for all, housing for all, you know, anything that we can give to all, we'll get. We'll just put it there. What do you expect to happen?
Not much. I expect things to run as they did during the Obama administration. As
under the radar.
Yeah, under the radar. Bush administration, Clinton administration, all inevitability of things that are gonna happen. I think the country that people fear, mostly people on the right fear, I think it is gonna happen. I just have a feeling because I look at the culture and I see the culture going more towards that liberal left mentality. Now maybe it could be because the generation we're in and the next generation may put a halt to it, which, you know, I'm fine with that. But what we really need to do, obviously, we have to. What time we got? Anyway.
No, we can go a little bit past.
Okay.
But I mean, I try to keep it at 30 minutes.
Okay.
You know,
I'm trying to keep that too. But
no.
what we'll do is what we have. The main thing is to wait until 2022. We have to wait until 2022 to see how the House flips. Obviously, you could guess that the House. But then after that, once we see one side has more clear power, then we can start sitting there going, okay, we're definitely going this way.
I expect everything that I just said, national mask mandate. I expect our taxes to go up. I expect the dollar to rise, you know, all that free stuff.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I thought I interrupted you. I was watching this. I was watching a video earlier about this Australian woman who had moved to Italy, and this is about a month or so, maybe longer than that. And what I found interesting, because I didn't know, she was living in Australia, and I guess she was saying the states in Australia. But anyway, they're like, I know Italy had regional, you couldn't leave certain regions in Italy.
Yeah.
And it was the same way in Australia. She had to get special permission to go from one state in Australia to another state, and then get special permission to fly to that state to fly to Italy.
But that's coming here, because if you look up in New York City, Governor Cuomo.
Yeah.
The state of New York, he's bringing the National Guard there to make sure to keep the paper, you know, check papers of those coming in, you know, because God forbid we be able to travel freely amongst our country. Why are we bowing down to this? I mean, everyone hollers, I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to be a slave. And they immediately run to a government and go, make me a slave. Chain me up with your invisible chain. That's the only difference between today and if it's a slavery with here in this country, or if it's slavery over in Egypt, or when the Irish folks were becoming slaves. We're begging, like we're saying, please chain me up.
It reminds me of
does this frustrate you?
It reminds me of, well, to a certain degree, yeah, but right now
you're saying so calm, and then before the microphone's hit, you're yelling at me. I had something to do with this. Now I'm trying to fire you up, and you're just like you're on NPR, man. Come on.
Isn't it funny how that works? It's like the dog says hello, and he's like, "Hey, say hello," and doesn't do anything. But anyway, no, it reminded me of. I'm trying to think of what was the other thing too, but I was thinking about the first Avengers movie. Oh, there's a Matrix reference, but I think about something. But anyway, first.
So which one are we talking about? The
Okay,
Avengers or the Matrix?
I'm good.
Okay.
Listen here, Mr. Interrupt.
Okay. Well, I couldn't make it.
I know, but anyway, the first Avengers movie, when before Captain America meets Loki.
Okay.
Loki is walking out, and he and he does this magic to make a bunch of holograph Lokis, and he goes, kneel, and everybody kneels, and he goes, there, isn't this your natural state? So maybe as much as people, and I know people talk about not wanting to do something and not allowing stuff to happen, I think they end up allowing it to happen. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's that sort of mentality of, I don't want to be the one to put my neck out, or I'll just be complacent, or it won't be as bad until it is bad, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I mean, I would love for people to be out here revolting more, or not revolt, but like challenging the system more, as opposed to just going. But the problem is, as opposed to just going, well, we have there's a pandemic and people are dying and stuff. Yeah, but people are dying, and the numbers, but the percentages are to a point to where you're going to shut down an entire country. You're going to put things in place that take away your freedom, and you're going to, for these percentages.
Right. I know. It's mind-numbing to me. It makes me sad. Do you think, just one word, is the country half full or half empty? I guess that's more than one word, but half full, half empty. Dead air.
I know it's dead air. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
All right. Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to let you keep thinking. Real quick, thank you, everybody, for listening to Maximum Libertarian. If you haven't, please subscribe to our channel. Right down there, click the notification bell. Like and share the video. That would greatly help us out. And also follow us on Twitter at We Are Max Lib. It's right there on Twitter, right there on the screen. And he's going to finish this up with
to keep it positive, to send out positive.
No. I don't want the positive vibes. I need to know from you, what is your half full, half empty? It's the country. You don't need to make a positive vibe. These kids are positive.
Oh, okay.
I always send out positive vibes.
Yeah, I can tell by listening to you. Half full.
Half full.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. So until next time. Oh, look, 3 viewers came on. Well, you're going to have to catch a replay. So until next time, I'm Brian, and that's Sean over there, and we will see you later. Smile.